General has called on Congress to enact new social media guidelines, and Minnesota has actually already made some of them into law. With these policies gaining national attention, their recent social media law is an example worth delving into.
Here to do that is our 9 News parenting expert and therapist, Dr. Cheryl Ziegler. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So what are the Surgeon General's recommendations?
So if people remember, we talked about this back in June. He had a whole bunch of recommendations, everything from, literacy about being on social media to ages. He thinks it should be 16. So there were all sorts of lots of regulations. So there was this long list, and certain states have really run with this, and Minnesota is one of them. And so I think it's really good for us to keep an eye on Minnesota that's taking his recommendations. They hired an ex-Facebook/Meta research analyst who now, I think, works somewhere in California, and really had him kind of put together what they could present. So they say, we didn't get everything we wanted, but one of the really big things they got was higher, more stringent regulation.
Okay, and from a legal standpoint, because typically when we talk about social media with you, we're talking more about mental health. This sounds like it's actually more about physical safety when it comes to younger people. From a legal standpoint, what does this mean?
So what this means, they are taking these recommendations. They've passed a law in which this is the first time that social media companies will have to actually report their algorithm, how they track how strangers can interact with kids. So that's why I care about this, because this is really about youth. This is about the tweens and teens. There's all these stats, like 1 in 5 get unwanted sexual advances, or 1 in 8 on Instagram, 1 in 5 teens, they get sexually explicit content every week. I mean, this is really affecting tweens and teens. And so what this law is doing is saying, we need to watch cases around sextortions. We need to watch how the algorithm works, and they need to actually report it. So a lot more transparency, and also report their data, because you know how there's been all of these leaks.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, we're done with leaks. You need to actually report this data.
Right. I mean, there are a lot of gross people out there who unfortunately do try to take advantage of young people in this way.
Yeah, so what are some other considerations that advocates of stricter regulation would like to see?
Well, they want to see a lot more things. This is one of the key things. So they're saying, hey, instead of us being behind it, like, okay, I'm a teen and I just got contacted, now we're going to track that person. They're like, why don't we prevent this in the first place? Why are they getting this content in the first place? So they really want to regulate things way up front so that they can't even get it. They say, they actually put it in these words, this is a conscious choice on the part of social media companies to allow this type of sexual content to go. They could stop it, is the way that they put it, and they choose not to. So that's probably one of the biggest things, is let's prevent this from happening in the first place, not just track it and then try to stop it.
Well, we're going to see how Minnesota, how it all plays out there. Really quickly, do you foresee, if it works in Minnesota, do you think other states are going to take this up as well?
I think so. There's 2 other states right now. I think Florida and New York are taking this up right now. I think that every state, I know Colorado's looking at, these kind of social media regulations, but there's a lot of compromise to be had. There's a lot of regulation, so you need a lot of energy around this. I think that lawmakers and just parents in general, they really need to understand just how serious it is, the amount of sexualized content, or in other cases, concerning content around suicide or bullying, those kinds of things that their kids are getting. And unless you're really monitoring, you just don't know. You just think your kid is on a social media site. You might not love it, but really the content is what they're talking about, that this is really concerning for our kids' mental health, and this is why and safety, and this is why, we're now starting to actually see movement.
It is concerning. As a parent, it's just so scary. You have to be involved. You have to be an involved parent. Dr. Ziegler, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.